Not really.
Fine. City of Mayville Common Council meeting, April 8th, 2024, 7:01 PM is now in session. Roll call, please.
Anthony DeBaker,
Here.
Keith Lodo,
Here.
Mike Schmidt,
Here.
Gene Frank,
Here.
Nick Stucco,
Here.
and Nicholas Lodo.
Here. Item number 2, pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3, citizens' comments. Citizens' comments are to be kept to a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker unless the chairperson allows an extension of time. Each citizen is to make comments at the podium after stating their name and address. Each citizen may comment only one time per public hearing.
Lisa Newman, 920 Dayton Street. I have lived in Mayville almost 30 years. I have been deeply saddened by what I've seen and experienced the last year. For those that are not familiar with me, I volunteered for many years on different community organizations and boards, as well as serving on city committees. I've always been proud of our city and community spirit since the time I moved here. When I first attended the initial meeting about Main Street Mayville, I think Mike remembers that as well. Our city has always welcomed new businesses, encouraged new ideas for events and community activities, along with a positive hometown spirit. That positive community spirit of Mayville, unfortunately, has changed. For those that are sitting in these seats today, it's important to share my truth with you. As I mentioned, I served on several committees for the city of Mayville, and as I always felt it was an honor to have a voice that would be heard and listened to. The Communication Committee was a new committee that was formed under the mayor. I was never asked by the mayor to serve on the Communication Committee. I only found out I was on this committee when speaking with a friend that congratulated me. Shortly after being told this, I went down to City Hall and spoke with Sarah Decker. She verified that my name was on the committee and that it was voted on and passed by council that prior Monday. It was her understanding that all committee members were contacted and agreed to serve on the committee. She was surprised as I was that I hadn't been asked by the mayor. The mayor finally contacted me 2 weeks later on December 1st, 2022 about this matter. He tried to convince me that we had discussed this. I shared with him several times during our phone conversation that I do not remember seeing him and having this conversation. I shared with the mayor that it wasn't that I would serve on the committee. It would have been nice for him to ask me before putting my name on a committee to be voted on by the council. The first communication committee was held on January 20th, 2023, of which the mayor attended. The communication committee started off with great intentions, but we often lacked having a quorum. We're not able to hold all of our meetings. I would have remained on this committee, but I experienced our committee chairperson, Keith Lodo, speaking with the city alderperson negatively about Alderman Newman and Alderman Olson. Our chairperson shared that he had been in conversations with the mayor as well. I wasn't sure if our chairperson knew the harsh words he was saying were about my husband. After hearing enough about this negativity, and the other committee member and I got up and left the council chambers. I was very disappointed in the conduct of our chairperson. I sent my resignation letter that evening on July 18th, 2023. I resigned not only from the communication committee, but also the CDA. I was never contacted by our chairperson or the mayor as to the reason why I resigned. I did find that disheartening since many of our committees were lacking volunteers. I would have only wanted to know why someone was resigning from 2 committees. As I stated above, I was also on the CDA committee. At the mayor's first CDA meeting, he told the committee the CDA was not running as a proper CDA. The mayor did not attend any other CDA meetings, even though it was required by our city ordinance that he chair the CDA. Later, he assigned Bob Smith to also represent the city as alderperson. Alderperson Smith shared that the mayor's intentions were to disband the CDA. The committee, despite what the mayor's intentions were, agreed that the CDA was needed. I also served on the library board and worked on various committees along with many other volunteers to plan the new library for many years. When my board term was to expire in June of 2023, Sue Smith and I individually sent letters to the mayor and the council in May that we'd like to continue to serve another term on the library board. The mayor and the council approved both Sue and I to serve another term on June 12th, with praises from the mayor for what we had accomplished. Then on September 21st, Sue Smith and myself each received an email that we were being removed from the library board immediately. I was shocked and surprised by the mayor's abrupt action. The mayor gave no explanation in his email, only stating Wisconsin Statute 1712 that we were dismissed effective immediately. I would suggest that his actions would appear to be connected to the city council's actions of a no confidence vote of 4-2 for the mayor that was held on September 11th, of which my husband, Ken Newman, was alderperson and council president. There seemed to be no other reason for taking such an impulsive, harsh action. I share this experience since many of you sitting here are probably unaware of what has occurred to me personally on these committees. My hope is that the people in our community understand that Mayville has gone through some harsh growth pains, but our spirit will continue to thrive. I recently heard Judge Stork speak at the newly formed Mayville Cares, which many residents, businesses, and community leaders attended. He shared a timeline on how Mayville has always come together through history whenever there was a need. The need we have now is to move forward and come together again to be a community and share the positive spirit of Mayville. Thank you for your time.
Any other citizen comments?
Jackie Langsdorf, 135 Riverview Heights, Mayville. I have copies of what I'm going to read. I'd like to hand out for you folks.
Thank you.
I will make this brief. I just put these together just for your information. Pertaining to
Thank you.
one of your agenda items coming up this evening. In particular, I have two items and I will make this brief. On your agenda tonight, you have an agenda item, HR complaint filed against a currently suspended alderman. I come to you before you tonight to give a comment on tonight's agenda item. As you know, city employees are bound by the city's personnel policies and procedures. In this case specifically, policies pertaining to social media. Should a city employee fail to adhere to their policies, they're subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. In this particular situation, those policies and procedures do not apply to elected officials because they are not employees. So what we have here is a city official, an elected official, who opted to cast disparaging remarks regarding a city employee on a public forum. And the subjects of those remarks were in a position where they cannot respond to those comments. I'm here to ask you, this council, to be the voice for those city employees who don't have a voice of their own. I ask that you take the following into consideration later on this evening when this agenda item comes up. There was a Facebook post that was posted at 1 a.m. on March 18th. That was not the first incidence of this individual making comments regarding city employees and their work performance on Facebook. In fact, there was a formal investigation that was conducted last year into 2 complaints filed by city employees against this individual, one for an inappropriate Facebook post and one for discussing employee performance in an open meeting forum. I attached to the letter a copy of that attorney's investigative report for your reference. This individual, this alderperson, was told at that time that their actions, although they were not illegal, were inappropriate, and they were asked to refrain in the future from continued actions. On Monday, March 4th, at 11:50 p.m., the same alderperson had another post in which they accused the interim clerk and treasurer of engaging in illegal tactics on Facebook. I attached a copy of that post for your reference also. Again, the city of Mayville's policy prohibits employees from participating in such activities on social media. To do so results in disciplinary action up to and including termination. Older people are not subject to that, so they can post whatever they want without any ramifications. This type of conduct in an employee relationship would get somebody fired immediately. So I believe elected officials need to be held to a higher standard. And, you know, this individual was put on notice a year ago and asked to refrain from this type of behavior. This individual chose not to. If anything, the behavior has accelerated since last year. It is within your purview to impose sanctions for this type of behavior, and I would request that you do so in this instance. You know, the common council is in a situation where you are a self-governing body. It is up to you to govern yourself and impose the rules by which you govern each other and set the standards for this body. Additionally, and maybe most importantly, I would request that this individual be removed from any and all personnel-related activities moving forward. Just by the nature of the commentary that this individual has made, they have compromised themselves professionally moving forward from having any activities involved in a personnel matter on this committee, or on this council moving forward. Their interests can be deemed as nothing other than conflicted when it comes to matters related to city employees. Finally, our city employees are not able to respond to these defaming posts. They must rely on you to do what is right and impose serious enough sanctions so that this alderperson and future alderpersons will think twice before writing anything on social media moving forward. Please do the right thing here. Tell the city employees that you have their backs. Don't sweep this under the rug. And please impose sanctions in this matter. So I have one other comment to make with regard to the item of the $700,000 that's got everything that has been discussed ad nauseum. I understand that everyone has election fatigue and we are all eager to move on. That being said, I do not believe it is possible to ever really move forward until we have an explanation of what happened to the mysterious $700,000. I sincerely believe that this council owes the taxpayers an explanation of what happened. Why is it not possible to trace the funds? Explain why I, as a taxpayer, should feel confident that the funds were not lost or stolen. Explain how the books were corrected to account for the errors. How can you tell me that the money was not stolen, yet you can't tell me where it was spent? Explain why the taxpayers were not told about this problem back when it occurred. Why was there no transparency? And explain why the taxpayers should have confidence moving forward that the city's ability to has the ability to properly manage its money moving forward. This has been a very tenuous election cycle. Everyone talks that they want to move forward, but right now there is a feeling that we were lied to. That our elected officials tried to cover this up and sweep it under the rug. And frankly, we have now reelected some of the same officials that lacked the transparency to disclose this problem in the first place. They have an opportunity to make this right. It isn't often we get second chances. So I'm asking that you do the right thing to rebuild trust and confidence and get the answers to these questions for the taxpayers. Thank you.
Well, on that note, my name is Shuri Davis, 223 North John Street. Going to follow up with her comment. Jackie, I feel the same way. I feel like there's a loose end left open, given the fact that that $700 is not fully accounted for or hasn't been presented to the community in a legible something paper-wise that we can go back and, look at and see, oh, okay, here it is. Citizens are able to request these ledgers and request these reports and see what our city is doing with our tax dollars. And the fact that this is left open, there is no way to account for that. If this is just left open and just scratched off as a write-off, that we don't know what happened to. I mean, no common sense person and a business would do that if they were running their own personal business, would scratch off $700,000 and be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna leave it nowhere. I don't understand why citizens are happy with, oh, let's just move on. It's there, it's accounted for. Really? Where? Can you honestly say where this money is if no one has told you for sure where it is? And bringing up the fact that this was going on for years and years and years. And is it a lie when they don't tell you upfront, you know, what happened to this money? Actually, I don't think it was ever mentioned in the future. He says, you know, the upcoming mayor said that he knew about this problem when he came in. Can any citizen say that they knew that? Was this disclosed to them at that time, that our finances in Mayville were this bad? Not one alder person even said anything. That concerns me, is that they're saying that they didn't know. Okay, well, if you're left in the dark, how do we have confidence with the same people who are going to be back in here? So I do agree with her. There does need to be some type of ending, you know, some type of finding. I don't want to see somebody spend another $72,000 on an investigation to find out where this money is, but I don't see how you can do that without spending the money. I know there's gonna be investigation money spent on why the aldermen aren't there. I mean, or why they were moved off. I mean, I don't understand why people are so concerned about that concern, but not concerned about where your $700,000 of tax money is. So on that note, I also want to bring up, I know that the council had voted in to receive monthly reports. I didn't know if it was possible to also put in the rules where the committees and groups can also receive monthly reports while we're sitting in there, because during my time on the park and rec, there is no time. I think I've only asked for the budget one time and it was first provided, but it wasn't a proper budget, let's put it that way. And I think if those were being able to be given to the committee members on a monthly or even a quarterly basis, when we're making money decisions for the city or for that committee, we have that budget to go off of, instead of just making decisions off of someone blindly just telling us what that is. I think it's responsible for each of those committees to also have a monthly or quarterly budget in front of them before making those decisions. I don't know if that is a possibility that could be put on the agenda for next meeting, so that maybe that can be voted on too. But I think it's smart just not to have it for the council or finance, but also for those people coming in to understand what they're spending money on. So, but that's my piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none. Item 4, new business. Approve the minutes of March 4th, March 11th, and March 13th common council meetings. Motion by Keith, yeah. Second by Tony. All in favor? Aye. Approve the operator's license for the following: Haley Heaton, Mayville. Police department is done. Check, I take it. Everything okay?
Yes. Make a motion to approve. Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve. All in favor? Aye. Approval of dates to open Park Square, opening June 1st and run through Audubon weekend. That's that area next to the Chinese restaurant there. Usually it's closed up.
Question on that. If my memory serves me correctly, the last couple of years, we've had very nice weather for the Memorial Day weekend. And I would propose that we open a week early, because there's a lot of visitors to town. There's a lot of people that they're getting out, they're milling around the community, they're spending money in our businesses. And it just seems like we have a real missed opportunity there. And to me, Memorial Day weekend starts Friday, the 24th. And so I had an opportunity to talk to Jack and to talk to the lieutenant at the police department. And I'm proposing that we move that from June 1st to May 20th to the 23rd, which would be Monday through Thursday, to give Jack whatever works for his schedule. Jack, please pipe in if you, or same with Dawn, who happened to be here tonight. Now, you know, people who have the opportunity to congregate outside, they may not need entertainment, but they just need a chance to get out and explore the downtown and socialize with each other and visit our businesses. I just hate to miss that opportunity.
Memorial Day is the 27th.
Yes, well, the 27th, I don't have my calendar in front of me, but a week early, put it that way. Maybe I looked at the wrong calendar on the refrigerator, I'm sorry.
It will be open by that weekend.
Yes, it would be open by the Friday of Memorial Day weekend. So that everything would be in place by Thursday. Could be in place by Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday.
Does that look like a problem to you, Jack?
I would personally, I would like to see us check with the business people downtown. I think that's extremely
That
important.
would be a good idea.
That we check with, say, Don Ramon's and a Chinese restaurant and anybody else that's down there to make sure they're okay with that. And as far as us putting it up that week or the week after, we have to do it anyway, so, but I personally would check. I would check with the business.
We have time too, right? Or is there urgency that it has to be done tonight?
I think it's urgent.
And not enough, Don wants to check with the business people or?
I don't foresee it to be an issue, but I can certainly contact them to make sure a week. Honestly, I don't see what a difference it would make in a week. But perhaps if you want me to call them, I certainly can.
And how many businesses, you know, we probably just think of the localized businesses in that area.
Are you thinking just Don Ramon's and the Chinese restaurant?
Well, or check with anyone that has parking, you know. There's issues with parking. I would just check with the businesses.
I can certainly send an email out.
Okay. I mean, for us to put it up, we can put it up on that Thursday.
Yeah,
Doesn't, for us, it's that Thursday or the following Thursday, but as far as I'm concerned, I think they should have a big say in this, not me or.
okay, how about if we put this over until the next common council meeting?
Can you tell me what the date of the next one is?
Love my phone in the car.
April 22nd.
April 22nd?
That's the committee's
That's
meeting.
many meetings that would be the,
May 13th.
May 13th. Let's put tight, but I suppose, well, hurt money. Anybody have any suggestions?
Well, unless we set it up that we tentatively approve the 23rd, pending approval or comments from the local businesses. I can't believe it, that you would say, no, we don't want any more business. Well,
Yeah, I can't fathom any.
But it's a week earlier, so it isn't like it's,
Yeah.
we're never gonna do this, or we're gonna do this.
I think the concern would be that they're losing some parking places.
That's.
That would, I don't know if a week is gonna make a lot of difference there either, but they will lose some parking spots.
Well. How about if we tentatively make it? Mr. Frings, having stated, we will tentatively make it for the 23rd and check with the business people and then. Okay with them. I see that when it's gonna go. It sounds like he said that, they removed a few parking spaces around there, but we've been doing it for years anyhow, lately,
Right.
so.
And this ain't gonna be a problem.
I don't think it'll be a problem, I agree with you, but I think just,
Somebody should check.
yes, we should check.
Okay, why don't we tentatively do that? Make it a week early. Based on, who's gonna check that? Jack, you wanna check that? Okay, yeah. Do we need, we should get a motion for this, I would assume.
Oh, okay, I'll make a motion to tentatively approve the opening for May 23rd.
Yeah.
Pending approval.
So I was right on my dates. It's just that, to me, the Memorial Day weekend starts the 24th. So if we could have that in place no later than the 23rd, we'd be all set.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Seconded by Keith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any, object? Okay. Item number 4, appointment of Emma Lazich to the library board and reappointment of Susan Smith to the library board.
My comment on this is I spoke to one of those appointments and like Lisa said, they weren't aware of being appointed to this.
Oh,
So I would say I would table these appointments until the next meeting.
all right. Anybody object?
I know you got the paperwork from Mayville, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but not,
not Susan. You're right. I thought that was.
Are they able to conduct business now that they have a form?
The library board?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put this over to,
Maybe we need a motion for that too.
yeah. We'll.
motion to table.
Motion
table.
Motion table.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Okay. Takes care of that. Discuss with possible action, item 5, capital improvements for parks and shelters. John Wild?
John Ward was supposed to be here.
Did we have something in our packets on that?
No, he was gonna present them.
We don't have any information on this. No,
Okay.
no action.
No action. Yeah. We don't have a mayor's report, city clerk?
So a couple things, just to recap the election, we had a total of 1,186 voters in the April election. Of those, 291 were absentee voters. We had 27 new election registrations. And everything went very well, with, from start to finish with all of the election workers, and I thank them very much for doing all the work that they did. And then the next Tuesday, the 16th, will be the organizational meeting at 6 p.m. And then the other item that was brought to my attention was a liquor license that have to be, the letters that have to go out this month. I found the letters, I found all the businesses that it needs to go to. I just have to update it regarding 2024, 2025. And then go through to make sure that there are any businesses that may have left. Because I know that we've had a couple calls for people looking for liquor license to start new businesses here in Mayville. And then, once I have all of the paperwork back, it will go to the May public safety meeting for approval, and then June council meeting for the finalization of all the approvals.
That it?
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful job you did on the elections. I thought everything went smooth as silk.
Thanks.
Treasurer's report.
I don't think Tony has anything, but I want to mention a couple things. Two separate issue or general update. The annual audit occurred 2 weeks ago. They are working on, the utility team will be working on their portion of the audit this week. They're hoping to wrap up by this end of this month, and they are on schedule to issue sometime in June or July. They will have the Baker Tilly is providing the Form C or the annual report that the council or the clerk is to submit to the Wisconsin DOR. Timely submission of that report is very important. You lose a percentage of your transportation aid every day that is late. So even a couple days has a huge impact on the community. So Baker Tilly will help ensure that gets submitted timely. Secondly, haven't had quite enough time to digest this. I read the Dodge County Sheriff's report. They definitely used some very harsh terms in that report. And I think we got to remember some of those terms that are used are very accounting specific terms. So terms like significant deficiency, material weakness, all describes a level of deficiencies by, the standard. So it's not uncommon for municipalities the size of Mayville to have material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, and that is communicated on an annual basis in we used to call the reporting and insights. And it describes all the journal entries that were required to make your financial statements materially correct. I would say you always try to minimize those journal entries. However, typically, a city the size of Mayville doesn't have the same type of finance staff that, a larger business or corporations, and the GASB or the Governmental Accounting Standards Board certainly likes to throw a lot of standards at municipalities, which require, effort and, typically municipalities can't hire enough accounting staff to do all of that. So sometimes they choose to forego making the adjustments during the year and have the audit firm take care of it as a cost, kind of a cost saving measure. Now I'm not saying this has anything to do with the CDA matter, but I will have with Tony, for the next meeting, the first meeting in May, a more comprehensive answer on that specific issue. Just haven't digested into that yet. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. Is it safe to say there is no money missing?
I would say, yes, so it's safe to say that materially, the financial statements were materially correct as the Baker Tilly issued the audited financial statements. Now, however, what I can't say for sure is that we talk about in governmental accounting funds. So the CDA represents only one fund of the municipality. So what I can't say for certain without looking into this further, because I haven't had the chance to get my hand around that everything is perfect, that's in the right fund. But what I can say is the financial statements were material correct. Otherwise Baker Tilly would not have issued their financial statements. Hopefully, I hope that helps. And I know if I'm using jargon,
A lot of finger pointing going on. And I can't wait till May 1st about the CDA as well. A lot of finger pointing there as well. And the Slate Road, metal craft.
You're out of order.
No.
You're out of order.
Otherwise everyone else needs to have an opportunity
Yes.
to talk.
You're out of order. That goes under citizen comments as far as that goes, and you didn't come up then, so.
I didn't know Pam was gonna speak. Sorry about that, Pam.
Item 5, committees, commissions, and boards. Library board, Minutes from March 14th are attached. Date and time of next meeting is Wednesday, April 11th, 2024. Parks, Rec, and Tag Center Commission. Minutes from January 10th, 2024 and February 14th, 2024 are attached to your packages. Date and time of next meeting is Wednesday, April 10th.
Yeah, can we go back to the library board? That's Wednesday, April 11th, is it Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday the 10th or Thursday the
That's gotta
11th?
be Thursday. Thursday. It's Thursday.
Sorry. It's Thursday.
That's gotta be Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday is the 11th, so.
Right.
That's a. Just print. Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I do Parks Rec and Tag yet?
You started at that, yeah.
Okay, Parks Rec and Tag Center Commission, minutes from January 10th, 2024, February 14th, 2024 are attached. Date and time of the next meeting is there's the Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, April 10th, 2024, 1 PM at the Tag Center. Okay. Community Development Authority, date and time of next meeting is unknown. I'm taking it still unknown. Planning Commission, date and time of next meeting, Tuesday, April 16th, 2024.
Right, that's changed to Thursday, April 18th. It just changed today for, email.
Thursday, April 18th,
Yes.
5 PM,
4.
4, isn't it?
4 PM, it is now. Okay, anything else? Public Safety Committee meeting, approve recommendation of resolution of the Dodge County EMS Association Mutual Aid Pact. Christine Churchill, I'm assuming is on the air.
Hi there. Yep. I had a chance to go through some questions that Nolan had on the document, and I think that we've come to an agreement that I don't have any concerns on the mutual aid pack. It is something that we've had for many, many years. There's a very old one in place. This is a little updated version. It does not mean that we are going to go into a community that doesn't have EMS coverage. It means if their services are already out, that we would respond to their area. It's kind of a home rule document, meaning that everyone takes care of their own. You have your own insurance. If somebody doesn't pay their bill, we would send them to collections. We are in circumstances that most of you are aware that there are from time to time the need for us to go into a community that does not have staff for the ambulance. That is a much different situation. That is not considered mutual aid according to state of Wisconsin standards. And during those cases, we do bill the municipality should the patient not pay their bill. So those are some of the conversation that Nolan and I had. Nolan, do you have any other concerns that you wanted to share with them prior to approval of this document?
I don't have anything further. The things that I identified were fairly minor points, and it sounds like this is a fairly standard contract that we've had in place in previous years.
Correct.
Okay, anything else? Resolution 5897, 2024, approve of Dodge County EMS Association Mutual Aid Pact. Whereas the Common Council met on April 8th, 2024, and did recommend approval of the Dodge County EMS Association Mutual Aid Pact with the city of Mayville. And whereas the city attorney did review the contract and recommended no changes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the city of Mayville does hereby approve the Dodge County EMS Association Mutual Aid Pact for the city of Mayville as attached.
I would make a motion to approve.
I will second that.
Motion by Frings, seconded by Keith Rodall. No. Why don't you take a roll call on this one?
Anthony Baker.
Aye.
Keith Morrell.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt.
I'll
Abstain.
abstain, yeah.
Gene Frank.
Aye.
Nick Steckel.
Yes.
And Nicholas Woodall.
Aye.
Okay, Passed by the Common Council, the City of Mayville, this 8th day of April 2024 by a 5-0. Yeah, 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Date and time of next meeting for the Public Safety Committee is Monday, April 22nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. Public Works Committee. Date and time of next meeting, Monday, April 22nd, 2024, immediately following Public Safety. Finance Committee. Discussion with possible action, ratify approval from prior CDA for facade grant for a reimagined Red Rooster Rotabush building. He's not here either?
When was that, at the CDA meeting? Because we haven't had a meeting for a while. That was been hanging up for quite a while. I don't know the
Mike.
exact date, but that's been hanging up.
On that document, remember, I highlighted the
CDA
date on the
approved it,
second
though.
page.
Yeah.
On the second page. And it was approved.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it says ratify approval from prior CDA, so. Do we need them there, them here for, to approve this? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so either. I mean, it's a CDA that is actually in charge of this and they oversee it, correct?
I have no idea.
Typically, committees and other boards provide recommendation to the common council to make. However, the CDA and the utility, or not the utility commission, the wastewater and treatment board, they do have some essentially equivalent, or kind of like the library board, to make decisions themselves. I do believe it was talked about bringing any type of loans or facade grants to the common council for final ratification. So ultimately, this individual doesn't have to be here for you guys to make action, but you guys need to feel like you have enough support to pass or fail.
I think it was approved in 2022.
And I don't have a real problem with this.
The facade grant was approved by the CDA on October 26, 2022. The applicant's name is Deborah L. Rash.
I think it's $10,000.
Doesn't say on here what it costs. Is there a final cost on this, Kristen?
She did not give me a final, she just gave me all those documents. Does it technically have to be completed first before the,
I think it's completed before they pay it, but that's up to them. That's part of the agreement with the CDA.
Estimator Kevin Shimolowski, base bid was $10,490.
I think our funding was always limited to
If a
10.
waiver of subdivision is required, add some or $75.
Has the work been completed?
90% to be paid during progress of the work, the balance to be paid upon satisfactory completion of the work.
That's from the contractor, though. That's
Yes, the contractors, yeah.
So, you know,
Do we know that the work has been completed? Have we gotten receipts that it's been completed and paid?
no,
Well, we've never paid them out before without having the work actually done. When it comes out of the CDA account, they're the one. They're the ones who's responsible for this. Good comment.
What I've seen prior in this, because I've sat in the CDA meetings, is that the business will come forward with all of their receipts. And then we look over all of the receipts and approve the payment after that then.
Well, I have the receipts. I guess, would that indicate, I suppose it could indicate that the work was done. I don't know what to have.
Do we have receipts or do we have estimates?
No, we've got receipts.
We kind of just vague the way this is in here, whether we're approving it. If all I have, then we will, they will. On this, when it's complete or we say we're going to ban it. You know,
Yeah.
I have to go back and convince, get your date, but it's already approved, the project is approved, they're just waiting on the payout for when the work is completed. If we follow those rules, then it's not a problem. Cool.
These are things that she took out of her credit union. I'm assuming to pay these. Receipt to the door company.
I don't believe there's good direction on this. I don't know if this is based off of the agenda item, if this is a reimbursement request. Looks like this person, initially got the, their facade project approved. What I would recommend is tabling this to the next meeting so we could clarify what the specific request is. Cause I can't, even based off of this stuff, I have no idea what they're asking for here. If you don't mind.
I would make a motion to the table, just.
Motion by Brings,
Second.
seconded by,
Who motioned it, so I like,
Gene Brings, Nicholas Lodo. All in favor?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? No. Discuss with possible action ratify recommendation of the common council to approve 2024 Rock and Boom fireworks contract. The resolution is here.
There we go.
the contract has been signed and approved and the first half payment has been made already.
Oh, okay, let's go on. Resolution 5898, 2024, approved contracts for July 3rd, 2024 Rock and Boom. Whereas the common council met on April 8th, 2024 and did recommend the contracts for the 2024 Rock and Boom event. And whereas Rock and Boom will be held in City Park with baseball bands and fireworks. Now therefore be it resolved that the common council of the city of Mayville does hereby approve the above mentioned contract as attached.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gene Frings,
I'll second.
seconded by Nick Woodall. Passed by the common council of the city of Mayville this 8th day of April, 2024. Oh, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody, not in favor? Motion passes. Discuss with possible action HVAC contracts for city buildings.
You know, I read those through pretty carefully and they're good. I'm impressed with the depth of the work that they are proposing in there. And I think the price is fair. But what I'm most wondering is, did we get any quotes from anyone else?
I thought we discussed that. Scott, did we have any other quotes on that? Nobody quoted, right?
Well, they didn't ask for any. We, at the tank center, go with a different contractor than what the city has here. These are new guys coming in. So,
I thought we had a contract previously, wasn't it like 2 years ago when we had.
2 years ago you did, yeah.
And we had a
And
contract,
they opted out, yeah.
they opted out, okay, okay. How does the price compare to those?
Between the two that we have, fairly close.
Oh, okay.
But the new guys are closer in distance for response time. Yeah. That's what you get, faster response. The other ones are out of Sheboygan, takes a little longer, you know. But the price is very close between the two. We stayed with the other guys because they've been there all the time. They know the equipment, they have the parts for our older stuff at the tank center. So that's why we opt with them, and we get better response from them because we've been with them so many years, so when we do call, they're there, you know. It's fairly close in both of them.
We do have a proposal for the tag center too.
Yes, they do, I looked through it.
And, so what I'm hearing from you is we're just voting on the one, or gonna be discussing. the
You
one.
guys are just discussing your own, yeah. I did go through both of them on ours, and they're very competitive, both of them.
One of those contracts had a stipulation in there about a 2-year maintenance kit or something like that, who would, like $1,400. You remember who that was for? What?
I didn't see the cities, what they.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
probably
see
the
any of this.
library.
Yeah, I was given one for the data center, and that's it. I see nothing of what they were gonna do at the city.
Okay.
Or for the police department, I don't know if Brian got anything.
Yeah, I walked around with the gentleman who I know personally. And we went around every building in the city because there hasn't been any maintenance done in 2 years. And on any of the equipment within the city, I don't know about the tech center, but in the past, we had maintenance contracts and stuff got looked into, and belts got changed.
Yeah.
And none of that had been done. So I contacted a company to come through, and they went into every building and gave a quote to just do a general maintenance on all of our equipment in the city. He also went to the tech center in Scott, so.
Was that a different company than the one that we have the quote from?
The quote that I walked through with everybody was Permastar or.
Yeah. Okay.
And, because the lack of maintenance, especially just from my side of the building, we call them in to do an emergency service because we're on heat or whatever. It's $4,000 or $5,000 every time they come, so I definitely believe that it's the responsibility, take care of what we got. We should have some kind of contractor maintenance that's done regularly. And I think in the long run, it'll save us money. So. But I went with him, and stood with the gentleman that did the quote. And we looked at more heaters and pumps and whatever it was that I ever need to see at my layer. There was a number of them. We're probably 100, probably city. And, with the water department and library, we went through the new library and we went through everything. So that's what that quote involves. That's a citywide quote. So.
Well, I would make a motion to accept the contract.
Motion by Gene Frings to accept the contracts.
And I'll second that. I was pretty impressed with their quote.
Okay, seconded by Keith Woodall. Take a roll call. Is it the whole city then?
What's that?
We've been under contract for years,
And I didn't know they were gonna do the whole city together, so we already accepted the contract.
And the ag center is not included.
We're not in part of this, okay, cause I say every year, we've been doing this the whole time, you know, we didn't have no left.
They came and looked at you
Yes,
guys,
he did,
and we have a quote for it, but.
I do have a
this is
quote.
for this-
but it's not part of this, just
Not part of this.
Okay,
Motion, we just
all right,
pointed that out.
thank you.
No. Anthony DeBaker.
Aye.
Keith Little.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt is gonna abstain, right?
Yep.
Gene Franz.
Aye.
Nicholas Sicko.
Aye.
Nicholas Lodell.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Item 4, discuss with possible action, Kunkel Engineering's recommendation for the city of Mayville 2024 paving milling project bids. That also includes number 5. Chris?
That would be the.
they're kind of in it.
Okay, discuss with possible action, putting out a second bid for additional work with the remaining paving and milling funds.
So I'll start with the letter recommendation. So
I don't know you yet.
my name is Nick Chowski. I'm with Kunkel Engineering.
Thanks.
I'm the city engineer. I have office hours here.
Thanks, sir.
So, bear with me here. I'm still a little under the weather, but you should have before you a letter of recommendation that we put together after receiving bids from 3 contractors. That would be for Breckenridge Street from Clerk to Grove. That was the section of the road that, working with Jack, we had pointed for work to be done. The bids came in a lot lower than we were expecting, a lot lower than last year's bids. They were, I believe they were like $18, $20 cheaper per ton of asphalt than last year's bids. So that is part of the reason why we have some funds left over in it. Typically, we had $200,000 as a budget for that account. We were planning on being in there with the bids that came in. They came in low. The low bidder actually came in at $153,000, I think, all told, with the base bid and the ultimate. In the letter of recommendation, after talking and consulting with Jack, we're recommending that the city accept the Karteshner's bid of 146 and change, I guess, just for the asphalt. His department will take care of the painting and striping that needs to be done on the road as a cost saving measure, and save a little bit there for the city to do it themselves. I guess, do you want me to address then the remaining part of the budget, or you want?
Yes, please.
Okay, so since we saved so much with the bids, with the really good rates that you guys got, we then later found out that instead of 200,000 budgeted, it was 250,000. So with the low bids, and if you accept those, and the additional funds that we did not know at that time that we had, we're looking at close to a little over 100,000 remaining budgeted for the PMP projects. And that was where, after talking to Jack, we have the second project laid out there that we would be asking for permission to go out to bid for. And that is from Dayton Street, from Walnut Street to Main Street, so over by the Quick Trip. So that would be the project that we are looking to have permission to go for a second bid for. Any questions or?
That might not come in so sweet. I was hearing today about the price of petroleum going up, and
Well, and that's exactly where we were stuck. I mean, last year's bid, we were getting unit prices in mid to upper 80s, even upper 90s is some of the bids we got. And this year we had low 70s.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
it'd be too good to last, but let's see what we can do.
Correct. And we would be putting out the second bid, and if we get, I believe, I put together the estimate on that using more numbers that we would typically see for that, and there should be plenty of budget for that section to be done.
So I wasn't, the council or whatever, when you decided what the projects were, what streets exactly are they doing?
So the one we have received a bid for is for Breckenridge.
Just that street?
Just Breckenridge from Clark Street to Grove Street. So that's pretty much the south side of the high school property there.
Yeah. Okay. It seems small. How does that compare comparing to other years for the amount of lots, yards that?
The prices have been going up, so the projects have been getting smaller and smaller.
Okay, so it's equal to.
Yeah.
Based off the roads alone in Mayville, that budget probably should be closer to 750,000 a year in the state of the roads in general. It sounds like they got a favorable bid, for bid one. My recommendation from a finance perspective is go out and see what you get. Ultimately, if you don't want to move forward with it, you can add that to your 2025 budget or less that you have to take out, et cetera, for the following year for those projects. So ultimately can be decided, but it's not gonna hurt to ask the question.
The only thing that we need to approve is the first item, right? Or do you need permission from us to pursue the bid?
Correct. So yeah, we need the,
If the same company, they'd probably be the best bid on it because they want to package it.
so Cartesian and Northeast and that battling, so I don't know. I don't know who would come out in the end on
We
the
have
second.
experience with the.
Typically Northeast Asphalt has done the work.
Yeah.
We have done projects with Cartesian and they have done good work.
Okay.
So. And they were the low bids on this one. So.
So what are we doing here, just four?
No, we need to do both.
Okay,
Yeah, separately.
or in,
Separate.
separately?
Yeah, so I'd make a motion to, do the, recommendation for Mayville 2024 paving milling projects, item 4.
Then,
I'll second that.
So award the contract for the base bid to Cartesian.
what about the second one?
Let's vote on this one.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, we got a motion by Gene Prince, seconded by Anthony DeBaker. For the first of the two bids there, 2024 million project bids.
Anthony Baker,
Yes, we do,
Keith Lodo,
Aye.
Mike Schmidt, Gene Kranz,
Aye.
Nick Stetco,
Aye.
and Nicholas Lodo.
Aye.
And I'll make a motion on the second one that we have bid put out for the additional work in the for the remaining funds.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion by Keith Lodahl, seconded by Nick Lodahl. Yeah, it's not like you guys look too much alike, do you? Okay, roll call on that one.
Anthony DeBaker,
Aye.
Keith Lodo,
Aye.
Mike Schmidt, Gene Kranz,
Aye.
Nick Stetco,
Aye.
and Nicholas Lodo.
Aye. It passes 5-0. Now, item number 6 here. Is that being moved to postpone the special meeting on April 16th, Chris? Discuss
Number
with
6.
possible action approval of contract with Zen for Dayton One LLC.
You have the information, but I don't know what your decision
Yeah, if there's gonna be any action, I would table this. I mean, there's not a lot of information, but from what I read about it, it's a little vague and the parties interested are not here, even the mayor, the developer, and even the lawyer said that, he thought tabling it would be wise.
Okay. Table it to the special meeting on April 16th. Postpone. Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. So April 10th. We'll postpone the special meeting on April 16th. You gonna make a motion?
I made a motion.
Okay, I'll second it. Seconded by Keith Woodall. All,
Aye.
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 Passed 5-0. Okay. 7, discuss with possible action adjustment to pay scale for the tag center employees.
We spent a lot of time in committee talking about this one, and I don't recall anyone at the committee that objected to it. I think it's only realistic that you get it to the point where you can have some staff in there. So, I don't know.
Yeah, agreed.
We were all here for that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Except Mike,
I wasn't here.
You weren't here.
I wasn't here.
but you can't vote on this now anyway.
Right, several years, so.
So I'll make the motion that we accept the suggested pay scale.
I'll second it.
Motion by Keith Ludall, seconded by Gene Frings. Want to take a roll call on that one too, Chris?
is. Anthony DeBaker.
Aye.
Keith Little.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt, and then Gene Franks,
Aye.
Nick Steckel, and Nicholas Laurel.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Woo-hoo.
Discuss with possible action Pitney Bowes contract for new postage machine for the city hall. So in other words, it needs to be approved, correct?
Anything new since, maybe?
No.
You know, that will be such an incredible time saver. I think it'll pay for itself and, not having people having to do the things individually. So I will make a motion that we approve the postage meter.
I'll second.
Who seconded? Seconded by Nick.
Nick Little.
Yes, I've got that. Oh, you didn't hear it?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Seconded by Nick. Down on the very end. That's why you didn't hear him. It's way down there.
Okay, we got it.
Young guy.
And
Okay,
now I have to do color.
take roll on that one, please.
Anthony DeBaker.
Aye.
Keith Little.
Aye.
Gene Franks,
Aye.
Nick Steckel, Nick Laurel.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Anybody object to that? No. There's nobody else. That's your resolution. Is that the original?
Lisa from Mellors is here to talk about the next agenda item.
Hi, I'm Lisa Trebatowski with Ellers. You should have a packet in front of you that is the pre-sale report. So I'll go through that quickly. Feel free to ask questions. So you're looking to issue 2,395,000 of general obligation promissory notes. And that's to finance a fire truck, some road improvements, a front loader, and a water tower painting. So you're authorized to do this though under state statute 67.12. And as general obligation debt, this does count against your debt capacity. That is 5% of your total equalized value. That's hit in equalized value. So with the issuance of these notes, you'd be at approximately 6.4 million, which is 24% of that limit, leaving you a residual capacity of just over 20 million. So the term of these notes is for 20 years. You'll have annual principal payments May 1st, 2027 to 2044. So we are delaying some principals and we'll go through that later in the report. And interest will be due every 6 months beginning May 1st of 2025. There is a call feature and that is May 1st, 2033 for the maturity May 1st, 2034. This will be deemed bank qualified because you're not looking to issue more than 10 million of tax exempt debt. We're not recommending that you sell this as a rated issue. Our basis of recommendation for going open market securities is to offer the lowest cost of financing. There's several sections within this report that just talk about how we market the notes. And that is to get a positive pricing result and also broaden who can bid on the notes. The section that I'm going to spend some time on is this is a parameter sale. So the resolution, you're authorizing the issuance and establishing the parameters. So this will delegate the authority to the treasurer or mayor that will be able to accept and approve a bid as long as the bid is within these parameters. So we're not going to exceed that 2,395,000. The minimum bid is 98% with a max at 108%. We are not to exceed a 5.5% true interest costs. And just for reference, the estimates that we have within the pre-sale report is at 4.68% of a TIC. And then we also will not be able to adjust the maturities by more than 75,000, either more or less by each year maturity. We did review any existing debt that you have and did not find any opportunities to include to refund any of your existing debt. You are subject to continuing disclosure and you are contracted with us as your dissemination agent. There's a section on arbitrage monitoring that is you're issuing tax exempt debt and you need to follow our arbitrage rule. There's a section on investing. Currently, you're not engaged with us, but know that that is an option to invest with your any bond or note proceeds as well as any general fund or enterprise funds. The risk factor section in here is that you are issuing some of the general obligation debt for utility projects. So you plan to abate that portion with the water revenues. And so if water revenues aren't sufficient to make their debt payments, then you would be obligated to levy a tax for that. There's other service providers listed in here, such as your bond counsel and disclosure counsel is Corals, and your paying agent is Bond Trust Services. Looking at the schedule for this, you are here tonight passing that resolution to authorize and set those parameters. They'll work with staff to create the official statement. That is the offering document that we submit out in the open market for underwriters to bid on. And we'll go through a due diligence call to review that. And then we will distribute that official statement May 1st, and the designated official can accept the award and take bids on May 9th. And then the estimated date for funds is May 30th. So switching over to the tables within the packet. Table 1, this is just your existing general obligation debt. Far left, chronological order. These are your total debt payments. Then you already abate some of that debt with water revenue, sewer revenue, and your TID 5 revenues. So then you establish what your net tax levy is, and based on a equalized value, you get a tax rate that is on an equalized basis. Looking at table 2, this is your sources and uses. So at the very top, it lists the project's amount. And then we have some estimated issuance costs along with some earnings, interest earnings that you can get by investing those proceeds until you need them so that you're able to downsize the debt a little bit. And then the rounding, because you have to issue these in $5,000 plots. And that's how we get to the $2,395,000. Table 3, this is the allocation estimated right now with the interest rates that we're estimating that you may receive. You'll notice 25 and 26, we are delaying principal by 2 years, and that is to keep that net tax levy rate steady, and we'll see that in a future table. Table 4 is that tax impact. So we already reviewed the existing debt, adding on the general obligation notes, taking out the abatement of your utility revenue along with some fund balance interest, going over second from the right. And that's where we're able to keep that debt service rate. We're currently at 60 cents and then upping it to 66 cents. So that's why we're delaying that, so you don't see a huge jump in that debt service tax rate. Table 5, this is that general obligation debt capacity. So currently looking at your existing debt, you're at about 16%. And as stated before, adding on these general obligation notes, you'd be at about 25% of that limit. And then the last page is just a bond buyer index, just to show where rates have been over the last year.
The current bid is 25 years. That will then take 5.
In the mixed use TID,
Yeah, it's a mixed use.
Yeah. So it can be open for 20 years. You have a 15-year expenditure period.
Do we have any other open?
Yes, so one of the things to keep in mind, I know, and this is somewhat off topic with the specific debt issuance, but TIDs can only cover debt service that relates to project costs within those TIF districts. Because this issuance says no project cost for, it can't pick up that. I think as Lisa pointed out, one key thing to remember is there is 385,000 of this overall borrowing that is being used and paid for by the utilities, which when she was referring to as abated debt. A lot of fun terms. I think one other thing to keep in mind is this is kind of more, this type of issuance is a little bit different compared to standard. Typically you'd have a debt issuance, and then that evening you would have a meeting to approve that debt issuance. Because of some legislation change. They changed where notes can go from a maximum of 10 years to 20 years. And that was just recently changed by Governor Evers. This is going to result in an incredibly competitive month of May for going out to market for selling these securities, which is why ultimately when Tony and I talked to Ellers, they recommended a parameter sale, meaning it did not have to happen on a day that you guys have a council meeting. So that gives, based off of the parameters that are set in this pre-sale report, if it's within those parameters, Tony or the mayor can accept that debt issuance on behalf of the council as a whole. So that's what we're looking for this evening as part of this resolution.
Mike was curious, does he need to read this?
No. I would call off the resolution number as presented in the packet. Resolution 2020.
Anybody else have any questions? Resolution number 5900/2024, resolution authorizing the issuance and establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $2,395,000 general obligation promissory notes series 2024.
Fine with me. I'll move that we accept that.
Motion by Keith Odoll,
I'll second.
seconded by Baker. Take a roll call, please.
Wayne Baker.
Aye.
Keith Flodell.
Aye.
Gene Franz.
Aye.
Nick Steckel.
Aye.
Nicholas Flodell.
Aye. That passes 5-0.
I know we talked about the TID a little bit. The joint review board will get together a little bit later this year. Typically sometime between September and October. Ellers will present the overall update of the TIF districts. Definitely would encourage, even if you aren't part of the joint review board, watching it or coming to the meeting.
Okay, anything else on that one? Date and time of next meeting, Monday, April 22nd, 2024, immediately following the Public Works Committee. The Age Personnel Committee, update on city clerk position, no update. Discuss with possible action, tag center hybrid position.
The hybrid position, that's another thing that just made sense when we talked about it at committee. I think it's something we should strongly consider. It gives them an opportunity to have one person in instead of having two people to do the job of one. And it's a little more responsibility, so that the pay was a couple dollars an hour more. Did I get that correct?
That is correct, yeah. Michaela couldn't be here, so that's why I'm sitting there.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll answer any questions you guys want. We went through that the last time, I kind of gave you the sheets, so
Yeah.
you got to read it all over. It makes sense, but.
And it's not really creating an additional position, it's just
Combining the two.
combining.
Yeah, you're combining two positions into one.
For special circumstances.
I'll make a motion to,
I'll second the motion. Motion by Baker, seconded by Keith, for Gene Frings. Just you want to take a roll call on this too, please?
So the motion is to add the position. Anthony Baker.
Aye.
Keith Flodell.
Aye.
Gene Franz.
Aye.
Nick Steckel.
Aye.
Nick Flodell.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Discuss with possible action, oops. Vote of conduct for elected officials, training, no discussion.
That's what you discussed.
I'm sorry.
It's good. We discussed that this afternoon. You said you didn't. We're gonna discuss it with them, to see what they wanted to do.
You guys know this?
Yeah,
We discussed it at the committee meetings.
has everyone had a chance to read it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did not.
And how about, the city attorney, have you seen this,
No, I haven't been asked to look at it, so I don't know much about it.
Well, and a question for the attorney, I don't know if you'd be familiar, I thought that the state elected officials were held to a certain code of conduct.
What's the training?
no, I think.
Now, the training wasn't involved in what we talked about the other day, was it? Was it?
The at the committee meeting, it was passed around a copy of Green Bay's,
Mhm.
and
No, yeah.
there is a separate one that's put for municipal employees, in fact, in the state statutes that essentially says you can't steal. And there are a few other things, but this is a lot more in depth than that. And basically it's behaviors, you treat each other with respect, and you treat the public with respect. And it gets right into the next section on the agenda, which we'll be to shortly here, is that, both in media period, whether it's press media or television or social media, you don't do some of the things that we've gotten used to doing. So I know it came up a year ago. Alderman Smith brought it up, Roger Smith, and it was put down at that time. It wasn't necessary because people were adults, and a lot of the behavior it would have prevented happened routinely over the course of the year. So with my unsuccessful election attempt here, that was one of the things I campaigned on, is that we really need to do something like this. This is not unique to Mayville, it's happening all over the state. I did think that the city attorney was going to see it first, and I don't think we want to act on it until the city attorney's had a chance to get into it and make some comments and such, so.
If I'm asked to take a look at it, I will do that. And, yeah, it sounds like it goes above and beyond the code of ethics, public officials, and state laws, so I'd have to look at it and give my opinion on any changes.
I read through that, when going through this, the state's issue, and I believe they say that we can pretty much put anything we want to put in on this sort of thing over and above what they do. But I do think it would be a darn good idea to have you look at it before we act on it. So we're going to put this over.
I can look at it if you want to postpone it to next month's meeting.
Should we bring it back to committee, I suppose, or should it come to,
well, has it been before the committee already? Sounds like it.
it's been before the committee once.
Well, unless you think the committee needs to weigh in on something else, you can just postpone it to another meeting and I'll look at it in the meantime.
Okay. I move we can hold till next council meeting.
Motion by Keith Total to table this till next month's council meeting. Council meeting, correct?
Yeah.
No. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Nick. Okay. All in favor of putting this over until next month?
Aye.
Anybody object to that? 5-0. Put over till next month. Meeting, which is. What is next month's
May
meeting?
13th,
What is that? I'm sorry?
May 13th.
May 13th.
You send me that.
Date and time of next meeting. Monday, April 22nd, 2024. Oh, do we?
Number 4.
No. Well, that all goes up with the other one, doesn't it?
No,
No?
it's completely separate item. They're interrelated, but this one needs to be handled separately.
Chris? All right. Item number 4, discuss with possible action, HR complaint filed against currently suspended alderperson for retaliatory online conduct toward city employees.
I think our opening comments pretty eloquently expressed that individual's concerns and it mirrors my concerns about this. We've got a situation where there was ample warning after the first time when it cost the city quite a bit of money to investigate and come up with a result on there. It wasn't listened to. The survey that Alderman Tillman did when he was still holding this chair for this position
indicated that the city employees were very concerned with the actions of the council. And, it made them fear for their jobs. And, so that should be considered in this also. And then this last time around, there were unbelievable attacks made on city employees by a suspended alderperson. And so I guess my question is, and it'll be for our city attorney, what are our potential actions here? What can we do?
That is not something I was asked to be prepared to address tonight. I was just asked to attend a meeting earlier today, and procedural issues that came up. So I would have to look at it and give the council some options after I've looked at it. So I'm sorry I can't give you options right now, but I have to look into it first.
You know, in this environment, obviously, we're not being flooded with applicants for the city clerk's job. We're running short-staffed in City Hall, and the community of people that we're drawing from for these jobs is a relatively small community, and they talk to one another. And if it's out there that we are accepting behavior like this from people, elected officials, you know, that makes it very difficult for us to find people to come in and work here. I would say at this point in time, even though I've applied for the open position, I doubt if I'll be here next month. I doubt if I'll be back. I hope to be back, but I doubt if I will be. So I'm saying tonight, what I really think people need to consider, and that's we just can't chin this. It's gotta stop. And if we can't get absolute assurance from the individuals that are involved with this kind of behavior that it won't happen again, they need to be permanently removed. That's where I stand on this.
And from my standpoint, we need to make sure that we have competent adult professionals. And we're scaring away competent professionals from coming forward to want to join us on this leadership team. So, you know, I know you want to balance a person's First Amendment free speech rights, but if I'm a member of this leadership team, I consider myself on duty 168 hours a week. You just don't do things. And I have a lot of experience in previous occupations. They're just things that are unthinkable for a professional.
The world that I came out of before retirement, I spent the last 15 years or so that in my work life in a position where I managed managers. And if any one of my managers had done what happened here, their employment would have ended instantly. You can't be creating a hostile workplace. You cannot. And even though it might not be a part of the what is described in there as a protected class and discrimination against someone for a protected class, that's not relevant here. It's the hostile workplace, and you just can't have that. So we'll see what happens. I guess we don't have much choice but to table this one until next month's meeting too. But I really hate to do it because that just gives us the look as a city that we don't care about this sort of thing. And that's a rotten thing to do to our employees. I guess under those circumstances, I will make that motion.
Motion by Keith Roll to put this over to next month's meeting. I'll second the motion. Seconded by Gene Springs. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Anybody negative on that? Passed 5-0.
Will be adjourned.
Motion by Keith Woodall to adjourn. I'll second. I was beginning to wonder if anyone was going to second that. Seconded by
Aye.